Thank you, everyone, and welcome to LaunchPad, the Jamf admin meetup hosted by Rocket Man. Ton of familiar faces on here. You guys know the drill. It's great to have you back. For anyone new, thanks for joining. Welcome. We keep it pretty fast and loose on here. If you got Jamf related questions, feel free to throw those out in various spots. But enjoy yourself. All right. It is time for the keynote presentation of this Launchpad session, and we are lucky enough to have Matt Jerome on the call. Matt's been working in Apple and Jamf since 2012. He's the senior engineer for desktops at Fanatics and manages about 1,400 Macs globally. Fun fact is, Matt got scuba certified on a bet, and he just sent that to me via email. So I'm jonesing to hear what the bet was that led to him getting scuba certified before we go any further with anything on this meeting.
First of all, can you guys see the right screen here?
Yes, with the Bears
Okay.
fan, which
Yeah.
most of us are Packers fans, so that's real a knife in the back here, Matt, but it's okay. We'll
I'm
look
okay
past
with it. We've had enough Wisconsin talk in the
it.
pre-meeting. So I went on a cruise with my best friend and his family long time ago. I don't even remember the year. But I was actually living in Milwaukee at the time, and he's been a scuba diver his whole life. I was actually moving to Florida shortly after. I did a Discover Scuba class. And for those of you who don't know, Discover Scuba is where you can go down 30 feet with an instructor without being licensed to dive. And he said, "You're moving to Florida, I bet you $300 you won't get certified." So
Uh, you got to take that bet. Easy peasy.
right. He never paid up, but we've been friends since we were 12. So
You can just lord over him
oh
with.
yeah. So, yeah, that is how I got scuba certified on a bet.
Well, Matt, thank you for sharing that story with us. And mostly thank you for presenting on this launch pad. The floor is yours.
All right. So, well, thank you everyone for being here. Like they said, my name is Matt Jerome. I'm from Fanatics, the clothing you guys all buy for sports fans. I'm a senior engineer here focusing on Mac OS. I've been here since April. I would like to say that this picture was planned. It was not, even though I am a Bears fan. And I hope I don't disappoint anyone with this info like the Bears did on Monday night. So we'll just go forward here. Like I said, I've been there since 2024. I'm based out of our San Mateo, California office. Prior to there, I worked at a couple corporate places, some MSPs, higher ed here in the Bay. But where I really like to go is experimenting with various setup processes and seeing where they are great, seeing where they fall short, and how I can break them and just see where we go. I mean, I am by nature a fast talker. So I apologize if I speak too fast. We're here to talk about Jamf Setup Manager, not me. Before we get too far, we do have a quick poll for everyone just to see what things people are using.
I can't believe we haven't done this poll before. This is fascinating.
Yeah,
Like for our MSP side of the business, we would love to know this kind of thing.
I am surprised that this many people are still using Dep Notify.
Uh,
It
yeah,
wasn't
I
that
hear
deprecated.
yes,
I
and
think it's still working though. It's just
it's
like no one's
still
updating it.
yes, it still works. If I remember correctly, the GitHub says it's not being updated. Actually, Dep Notify is what set me on the path of exploring different ways to set up Macs a few years ago. So I can't see the polls, so if you just let
Yeah,
me know when to continue.
I'm gonna go ahead and close it. Looks like the numbers have tripled out. So I shared the results to everyone. We'll see how. I can't see what happens here with the polls. I can just do the thing.
Okay. So it looks like we have a good spread. A lot of people, about a third of us are using Dep Notify, Setup Manager, macOS onboarding, set up your Mac. All right. All right, we got a good spread here. So at its core, Jamf Setup Manager, I refer to it as JSM, sometimes is a native app built by Jamf It's part of their Jamf Concepts program. It's highly versatile. It moves you, in my opinion, towards a true zero touch setup. I'm going to make a bold statement. We're never going to be at true zero touch. We're always going to have to touch it in some way. There's a lot of ways to deploy it. I'm going to be talking about the ways that we have it deployed here at Fanatics. Excuse me. I will be focusing on Jamf Pro. I don't manage Jamf School. I've actually never touched Jamf School. So, but from what I've learned, it doesn't really vary that much. I do want to give some thank yous to the big team at Jamf who made this. They don't get enough credit. And also people that make things like Set Up Your Mac, people that made Dep Notify, all of those, they don't get enough credit in the community, and they do great work for all of us. There are some key features that we're going to talk about today. An easy setup, some flexible workflows, my favorite, which is probably live logging, and on-demand data. I'll talk about what all those mean. Everything I'm talking about can be found here. It's all pulled directly from the GitHub. They do a great job with their documentation, and there's a QR code if you need it. I'll just wait a minute if anyone needs to grab that. All right. Easy setup. You don't need scripting to set it up at its core. And I'll get into why. Nothing wrong with scripting. I do a lot of scripting myself with internal tools, but it's nice when you don't have to rely on scripts to future-proof or vacation-proof or PTO-proof your work. I want to go on PTO and not have people call me like, what did you mean in this script? Because I don't understand. You really just need two items for this to work. They are a PKG file that installs Setup Manager and a configuration profile that tells it what to do. Both of these can actually be found on the GitHub. And when I say the config profile can be found, there are some there, but there is also a JSON schema, which you can see here. Most of the aspects in the UI are configurable. I say most because, to my knowledge, and it may have changed since the last time I looked, you cannot resize the window. You might be able to make it full screen, but I don't believe so. I could be wrong. But you can change the icon title, the message, the accent color, all those kind of things. And you can look at action labels and action arguments. These are what makes it work. And what thing I love is that you can move them up and down if you need to change the order that things install in. But it also has install-o-meter built in. A lot of us use this as a separate script in your profile. I'm sorry, in your policies that, installs whatever you want. This has it built in. So we're removing dependencies is the way I talk to my team about this. You'll see familiar labels like familiar items like the name of the app and icon source. Personally, I just use the the self-service icons and the install-o-meter labels. If you were to click on add argument here, you could add notify equals success or other items in there. Silent is the default, which I personally like, so that I'm not bugging my users with things that they can see in the display. And like I said, you can move things up and down. So a common use case here is, you need Jamf Connect to install first, or you want it to install first, or there's an app that you need to install another app, which has happened to me before. Things like that. It's easy to move them up and down without copying, pasting code or renaming policies because they run alphanumeric, things like that. We do use two different workflows for this. And I'll explain why I think it's a good idea. Automated device enrollment. We put the configuration profile in the pre-stage. And the only other thing we put in the pre-stage is the PKG to install GSM and our company font. They've said, and I kind of agree with this, put as few things as possible in your pre-stage to install so that, if things conflict, There's less things to untangle. I'm a fan of being pretty lean. So as soon as I click enroll, JSM gets installed and it kicks off. And I scope the profile only to computers that are in the pre-stage so that they won't get it if they haven't been enrolled in that pre-stage. And same with the PKG installer, I scope it to computers that have the profile. So there's a lot of sequence in there to help prevent computers that I don't want JSM on from getting it. So an example would be AV machines. I don't necessarily want JSM to run on them. And we also have it via a user initiated enrollment. Now, they use the same config profile, and I try to avoid this, but sometimes it is necessary. And we run it via self-service, and I'll explain why I have it outside of enrollments. With Apple Silicon now, anything can be added to your Apple Business Manager. So I do try to prevent my team from doing UIE. Here it is in Setup Manager. Here's why I have it here. Nothing is foolproof. Things can break, things can happen, network connections can drop. I have it here as a safety measure. And what this does is it uninstalls JSM, and there's a script on the GitHub to do this. But one thing I will say is that the very last line of the script is commented. And that line says to remove a setup done file. It's a hidden file. And the reason it's there is to stop Setup Manager from running when it's not supposed to. What do I mean by that? It's that, sometimes an enrollment gets triggered again somehow. Or sometimes if an MDM enrollment profile certificate gets reinstalled, it can treat that like another enrollment. JSM has a mechanism to stop itself from running if that file is present. So I purposely remove that file with the script in this policy, because if I'm going in here, and you'll notice I didn't put an error or anything there, but it shows that I'm logged in the bottom left corner. My techs have to log in to see this purposely so that there's more barriers to run it. If it's like I said, I do this if something doesn't go quite right, or the rare user initiated enrollment. My favorite feature is this. I'm gonna assume everyone's had this. Someone's setting up a system, and they come to you, or you've encountered where something doesn't go quite right, or there's a stall or something, and you say, check the logs. But sometimes you have to wait till the whole process is finished for the logs to check. I'm replacing Set Up Your Mac right now with this. Now, in no discredit at all to Set Up Your Mac, because I actually think it's a fantastic product. You had to wait till the end to see the policy logs a lot of times, depending on how you have it set up. You can see the logs in real time. Click on the window, hit Command L. You'll see 3 different logs. This log is like a 10,000 foot view of what's going on. This is at the very beginning, where you can see it's detected Jamf Pro, it's detected your network, it knows what URL, it's waiting for the binary, and it'll just keep showing things as you keep going down the list. This is the install.log file that's on the Mac itself. So exactly what's going on from an install perspective. And this is what the Jamf binary is doing. I look at this one on the right as if I were to go to the computer record and go to policy logs. It'll show me what it's doing. Now, all 3 of these have this checkbox. I don't have it on the left one just because, honestly, bad screenshot. But that is a summary log. If you uncheck that box, I call it putting in verbose mode. I did not include a screenshot in there because it's just too much information to be a useful screenshot. But it's tremendous information to know what's going on if it's stalling. I see it stall a lot on Microsoft stuff, just because those apps are big. I'm using Installator to download them, and they're big. So I always show my techs, hey, here's what you can see. Some more on-demand data. This shows basic information and about this Mac. Basic info about the computer, the model, chipset, memory, what OS it's currently on, your download speed. Really useful. Because if you have somebody doing it remotely saying, oh, downloads are running really slow, that's probably why you're seeing it. If you hold down Option, you'll see even more verbose information. What I find most useful here is the start time and how much time has elapsed. I've done this about 100 times, and the whole setup process, excluding any Mac OS updates, and we've got about 17 different things that install, takes between 20 and 25 minutes. It's that way every single time. And it's great because I can tell people, hey, just wait. We've done it enough times to know this is how long it's going to run. Like I said, that does assume no Mac OS updates because we never know. And it was about 2 minutes of touch time because we do put in the username and an asset tag. The question mark can provide a QR code as well as some text to get support. For us, this QR code goes to our support portal with a phone number and email to our service desk. So the writing on the wall here is that we want to be able to just ship computers to users and provide them with enough information so it doesn't overwhelm them, and B, they can just have this set up and get information as they need it. So I have a little video here. Now, this is in debug mode within the OS. It looks exactly the same if you're running it before enrollment, because that is something it can do. JSM can run prior to login or at login, at the login window, or you can run it from self-service. The setup is the same. Literally, the only change you'll have to make to run it outside of the OS is a change in the JSON schema. So you'll notice at start, account name, this and asset tag, we have these custom done. So I put in this text. You'll see the green check mark versus the red. A username is not required, is how we have it set up. The reason I have it set up that way is to allow for loaners so that they're not assigned to a user, but every computer I do require an asset tag. And these actually have regular expressions in them to allow for our specific format. And it says username, not the full email. So if somebody enters a full email address, because it detects the @ symbol, this will turn red. And you can also see that it says box drive, that's step 2 of 17. I have it set up with the wait for user wait so that this text does not disappear until you hit save, but it does not stop the items from installing to save time. So if the example I always give is, it comes up, you see the getting ready stage, and then you walk away, say, go get a drink of water or go use the restroom or get a snack. The things will start to install while it waits for this, which I think is a great feature to help with time. And keep in mind, this is running in debug mode. And you can see it, the regular expressions kicked off. So it does go pretty quick. I always use 8675309 as my demo. And you see things are installing about this Mac, going live. And there's the more information. There's the QR code. This is nice. You Command N, it shows you networking information. And Command B shows you your power status. There is also what I call a kill switch built into here, so that if it freezes or something, you just need to stop it. It's Shift Command Option E. I'm doing it on my keyboard so I can get it right. But this is all documented in their GitHub pretty well. Finish does a final inventory. Where it says finishing does a final inventory, and there's the verbose logging that you can see. Just showing you guys all this. Like I said, it's a lot to show in one, but it could be useful if you need it. And that is it for the demo and everything. I'm going to stop my share.
Thank you so much, Matt, for your first LaunchPad presentation. And with that, I'll end this meeting and say goodbye. Eric's not here, so I got to end it.
Thank you for joining us today. We have new episodes on the first Friday of every month. If you'd like to join our session live, visit the link in the description to get on our mailing list. And if you're looking to get the most out of your Jamf server, visit rocketman.tech to set up a meeting with one of our Jamf experts. That's rocketman.tech.